On Inner Light today, we are joined by Abhishek AJ Joshi, coach, podcaster, and relationship guide who helps couple heal, rebuild love, and set boundaries that honor connection. From software engineering at Amazon to guiding hearts in their hardest moments, AJ's journey is a powerful reminder that love is both an art and a practice. Tonight, we are diving into the foundations of communication, trust, and lasting partnership. Welcome to the show, AJ. It's such an honor to have you.
My pleasure. Thank you for that introduction.
Mhm. So, AJ, you moved from software engineering into relationship coaching. What
Yes,
inspired that leap into such a human centered field?
that's a great question. So I started off as an software engineer in Amazon. So it was a pretty well-established company, and my entire journey was headed towards machine learning, artificial intelligence, and that was where I wanted to go. But when I came to the US, for the first time, I discovered an entire field which is dedicated to helping people. And I had never been exposed to this, or to use better words, I never understood that a space like this could exist. So when I came here for the first time, I accidentally hopped onto Tony Robbins' video, which led me to wonder, oh my God, such things are even there. And that triggered me to go explore what's going on. And I loved this field. As I started exploring more and more and started developing my own skills, the part which really excited me was actually about helping couples, because you can relationships is one of those places where you are in your most raw form. Someone can hurt you the deepest and lift you the most in relationships. That's the power of it. It's the most intimate space we will ever hold with anyone. And the patterns and the dynamics that come true in those spaces were fascinating to me. That's what got me to leap towards relationship coaching.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you.
And was there also personal experience that showed you the importance of communication in relationships?
I've been I've been in a relationship myself. I mean, I've been married for 4.5 years. I've been in a relationship for 7+ years now with my wife. So I completely understand the power of communication. But to really best express what the power of communication is, I heard this from a communication coach online. Just imagine you are an incredible expert in your field. So let's say your expertise from a technical perspective is a 9 out of 10. Let's say your communication expertise, or the level at which you communicate, is a 3 out of 10. Do you think people around you are going to see you as a 3 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10? It's highly likely they're going to see you as a 3 out of 10, because your communication will hold you back from what you can express and what you can truly showcase about yourself to the world. And that's the power of communication.
Mm-hmm. And that's so inspiring. Like, it shows how even technical minds can be drawn to the deeper work of the heart.
Absolutely.
Hmm. And many couples struggle to communicate without conflict. What do you see as the most common mistake people make in communication?
You can't run away from conflict in a relationship. Conflict is always there. It's the ability to handle those conflicts that people miss out on. How do you go about speaking and expressing in a way that the other person is present and also staying present while the other person is listening? So if my wife is speaking to me and she's speaking to me about something difficult, if I choose to dismiss her or make it like the issue doesn't exist, or you know humiliate her, then she's never going to want to open up to me. And those subtle little things that we do really add up. Those are the things that make things messy. So it's not the conflict, It's about how you handle the conflict. And that is where most people miss out. Unfortunately, a lot of people are told, people can't change. Or a lot of people are told that this is how relationships are. Or they have their own inbuilt beliefs about how people are and how they can be. And so they never get to a better place where they can improve and show up as a better person in their relationships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And also, what's a simple shift? Like couples that can try today to change the way they talk and listen.
Very simple. It's called, actually, this specifically is not even mirroring. It's, let's say you're in the middle of a conflict, it, and you need to discuss a very heavy subject. Here's a strategy I recommend everyone tries. Each person only speaks one sentence at a time. You're not going to speak more than, or at once. You're not going to speak over each other. So let's say I want to speak about my side of the situation. I speak whatever's on my mind, and the other person cannot interrupt me. The other person has to sit and listen. And then their responsibility is to repeat whatever I said in a way that I feel, yes, they get what I said. And only then can they speak about their perspective. The reason this is so critical is a lot of people are speaking over each other even in their mind. So they don't even listen to what the other person is saying. And by the time they're ready to speak about themselves, they've missed out probably three-fourths of what the other person is. Using this strategy, just this strategy, will make probably 2x to 3x the difference in their relationships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's like so practical because it turns arguments into opportunities for connection instead of division.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And also, boundaries often sound like walls, yet you teach them as an essential for love. How do you explain boundaries in a way that feels freeing instead of restrictive?
Boundaries are about holding standards. So let's say but let me define what a boundary is. And this is where actually most people even get it wrong. A boundary is a line of behavior that you do not accept, and you hold a consequence for crossing that line. So let me explain. If I do not want someone to call me an idiot in public, just as an example, and for all practical purposes, I may be an idiot, but I don't want people to call me an idiot. And I tell them that this is a boundary. You cannot call me an idiot in public when there are other people around. Now, here's what people do. They say, I've told this other person this, they just need to listen to me. No, people do not owe listening to you and obeying your commands. What a true boundary is that you speak about what the line is, and then you talk about what the consequences in terms of your strength. So if this, in the example I was speaking about, let's say this person actually calls me an idiot the next time. I'm going to say the consequences that we cannot be in a relationship, or we cannot be friends anymore, or we cannot be connected to each other again. Because if you cannot even respect what I'm saying, how can we ever have a respectful relationship? And that is why boundaries are important. Boundaries are basically a form of respect, understanding what is okay to another person and adhering to it, actually respecting it and following what they request, because certain things are non-negotiable to the other person. And when you can respect that, you're in a much more healthier relationship. But if you flip the perspective and you think about it from your own perspective, when you can hold a boundary, when you can say no to something, you elevate your own sense of identity and authority. You're able to see yourself as someone who can hold command. And that identity shift, just that identity shift, will elevate how you show up in your relationships and how you show up everywhere. That's why boundaries are so powerful.
Yeah, I get that totally. And also, can you share an example of like how healthy boundaries actually deepen intimacy?
So I kind of just gave an example, but let me try to come up with a different example. So let's say that in my relationship, I don't want my wife to be, throwing out trash on a certain day. Just, it's a very hypothetical example. If this person follows what I've requested and they understand how much this means to me, I feel seen and respected. I feel I feel like this person wants to do something that means so much to me. And that will want me to reciprocate with things that mean something to the other person. That's how the intimacy builds. That's how the connection builds. It Boundaries are not a wall. Boundaries are not where you say no, you can't do something. Boundaries are about respect and understanding what something means to the other person. And that's why it can build intimacy and build connection and closeness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like that's so powerful. It shows that boundaries aren't about separation, but about creating safety for love to grow.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Hmm. And you've also helped couples recreate love when things feel hard.
Yeah.
What's the first step when a relationship feels like it's on the edge?
When a relationship is on the edge, a lot of times there's a lot of stacked pain, a lot of things we wish the other person got. We wish the other person did differently. And one of the first steps is actually opening up, letting the other person open up and giving them the tools to be able to understand each other. So one of the tools I spoke about was before, you repeat what the other person says, but there are so many such tools. And that kind of, just breaks down this big dam that was built up, big wall of emotions. It just breaks that barrier and feels like, okay, there's a flow of connection again. Once that understanding comes in, I think that's one of the first steps. The next step after that, I know you didn't ask me this specifically, but the next step after that is trying to figure out a solution of what you do with these challenges. And when you discuss and decide a solution and you actually implement it, that's when the relationship starts repairing. That's when the repair happens because people want to see action more than just words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Also, do you believe any couple can rebuild trust, or are there moments when it's healthier to let go?
No, not every couple can rebuild trust. The couples who want to work on themselves, who want to keep this relationship and are willing to accept their faults and grow, because every couple, if someone believes that they don't need to do anything and it's all on the other person, it's not going to work. No matter what the situation, both parties in the couple are contributing to the conflict. They're contributing to the challenges in it, and being able to understand that and really shift your perspective and work on yourself, that rebuilds the relationships. That's the most important part. If someone cannot understand that, there is no hope for the relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's such an honest and compassionate. It, it gives people both like hope and clarity for their path forward.
Absolutely.
And you often emphasize simplifying life. as a way to strengthen relationships.
Mhm.
Why does simplicity matter in love?
I think simplicity matters in life, not just love. Simplicity, if people struggle to follow the complex, the more complicated you make something, the harder it is to follow. The simpler something is, the more likely someone will do it. Simple plus joyful or being aligned is what just makes it easy to go through. You have to make the path easy to walk on. If you make it complicated, people are not going to make the shifts.
Yeah, I agree. And what's one small practice you and your wife use to keep your own relationship grounded?
A small practice that we do is really understanding what each other's love languages are and trying to make sure those love languages and those emotional needs are really met. So, for example, my wife loves quality time. So I try to be on the lookout for games that we can play regularly. And that, fuels the relationship. She loves the fun aspect. And the more I do it, the more she feels lit up in this relationship. And that's something that we try to keep doing.
That's great. And also beautiful. Like it reminds us that love thrives not in grand gestures but in everyday presence.
Yeah, I agree.
So, what a heartfelt conversation. AJ shows us that love is not about perfection, but about presence, clear communication, healthy boundaries, and the courage to rebuild. If you are listening, try one practice from today's talk in your own relationships and notice how even small shifts can spark big change. And until next time, keep shining your inner light.